And we've had lots of good wishes from many of you. We had some last night. We're going to have some more tonight. And and one that we didn't play last night, but we did put out there before one Shabbat was the chief rabbi, who every year we're very privileged to have a message from the chief rabbi. And I thought tonight, although he recorded it ahead to say looking forward to one Shabbat, I thought we would play it tonight. So we're going to start off before we get into Havdalah by sharing that. And here is our message, lovely message once again from the chief rabbi. Oops, sorry. I'm just going to stop that. I didn't put the sound on. Let's try that again. And message from the chief rabbi.
I'd like to congratulate the Jewish Small Communities Network on everything you are doing to strengthen Jewish identity within communities right across the UK. And as we look forward to one Shabbat, which takes place this year on Parshat Ki Tavo, the 21st of September, I have no doubt that it will be a resounding success. And I would like to thank all the communities right around the country for participating in this special event. And let's not forget, sure enough, that Shabbat will be one Shabbat. But thanks to the inspiration we receive from it, let's guarantee that every single Shabbat after that will also be a one Shabbat, so that Shabbat will fill our lives as individuals, as families, and as communities, as a result of which we, the British Jewish community, will only go Mechael El Chal, from strength to added strength in the future.
And let's hope we do. So in some of the information that we've put out in our One Shabbat Siddur and in various other publications, and you'll see that in various shul magazines coming out now ahead of Rosh Hashanah, we have our message about the forthcoming year, what has gone, what is coming forward. And it is amazing that small communities, they shrink, they grow, but really they stubbornly keep going on. And let's hope that that this year is one where small communities have another fantastic year, despite all the challenges that we face. And it's in that frame of mind that we start Havdalah. Havdalah is about looking at the new week. It is about leaving behind the meditations and the connections with Hashem that we had over Shabbos and looking forward into the next week. And we're going to hear from Elkan Levy. Elkan has prepared 3 different things for us. He's going to introduce Havdalah, what Havdalah means, and some of the intricacies of Havdalah. We'll have Havdalah itself, and then he's going to be talking about what it is like in Israel at the moment, because of course that's permanently on our minds, what is happening to that part of the Jewish world that is in Israel. So let's start with Elkan's introduction to Havdalah.
Shavua Tov, good evening, and may we all have a good, successful, and happy week. My name is Elkan Levy, and I know quite a lot of you because for the period from 2005 to 2010, I was the Minister for Small Communities and with my late wife travelled all over the country, and more recently I've been with my partner Andy to Exeter and Cheltenham. We were there last year for the 200th anniversary of the synagogue, and a number of other places. And small communities are very dear to my heart. I was actually born in Preston, which was in those days a very small community and actually no longer exists. So, Shavua Tov, and it's my pleasure and privilege to talk to you this evening about the Havdalah ceremony and then to celebrate it with you. Havdalah is very old. It's mentioned in the Mishnah and the Talmud, so it was probably a practice that existed perhaps even while the temple still stood. It consists of 3 blessings. A blessing over wine, or as we'll see later, a different chamra de medina, the normal drink of the country where you are. A blessing over spices, and a blessing over light, the Havdalah candle, which must have a minimum of 2 wicks. This one does. You can actually get Havdalah candles with 26 wicks on them, because 26 is the numerical value of the 4-letter name of God, Yud, He, Vav and He. Why do we have this ceremony? Well, possibly because, to begin with, it tagged on to the 3rd meal of the day, and at the end of the meal you'd have a drink to finish the meal, so that's how we get the drink. Then there is the very old idea that you have an extra soul on Shabbat, a neshama yetera, and this soul goes back to heaven as Shabbat goes out. So you therefore have some spices to pick you up with the loss of the soul. And why light? 2 reasons. First of all, because God created light on the first day of the week. And we are just coming into Yom Rishon, the first day of our week. So we have light to mark that we are creating light just as God did. And secondly, because kindling lights is something that you don't do on Shabbat. So the first thing you do after Shabbat is over is to do something which shows a clear difference between the customs of Shabbat and the customs of the secular week. Let me add 2 further things. First of all, I'm going to make Havdalah on milk. As I say, it can be made on chamra de medina, any drink that's customary in the country. And having it on milk was a custom in my mother's family. And when I was a child at home, that's what we always did. Why milk? My mother came from Lithuania. Wine in Lithuania was not easily accessible. Certainly not wine that we think of today. What they would do is get a lot of raisins and soak them in water, possibly with a little sugar, and it would be quite an expensive thing to do, and it took a long time. So if they could avoid they would use wine obviously on Friday night and on Shabbat morning, But if they could reasonably avoid using it on Shabbat evening, they'd use milk. And the other thing is, I found this in my cupboard this evening. This, believe it or not, is for Havdalah. It's probably 30 years old, and it was probably made by my late father-in-law, who after Sukkot would take an etrog and sit for hours making a little hole in the etrog and pushing a clove into each hole. And this produced a tremendous, beautiful smell, and he used to use that for Havdalah for years and years. It must be, as I think, about 30 years old, and it just has a very, very faint smell of cloves remaining. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the explanation of the Havdalah service.
Wow, some fascinating facts there. Absolutely amazing. I know now, you can't wait for Sukkot to get your etrog and to get a whole big bag of spices and start making your own. I think I'm going to try. But you may be familiar with some of the different aspects of the way we express ourselves in Judaism. They have the Ashkenazi world, we have the Sephardi world, the Mizrahi world, the Yemenite world. So I thought on Havdalah, we'd just bring in a little bit of Ladino. Some of you may have enjoyed this with me before. I don't see any reason to not enjoy it again. And we're going to go for this to our friend Chazan Ben Lolo in Montreal. It was recorded a little while ago, I have to say, but it stands just as good as ever, who is going to sing Quando el Rey Nimrod and Abraham, which includes Abraham Avinu, which is what he's going to explain. So let him explain now.
So this used to be like a very popular song because it goes Quando el rey Nimrod al capo salía, miraba el en cielo y en la estrella vidó una luz santa en la judería que había de nacer Abraham Avinu. Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel. Abraham Avinu, Padre querido, Padre bendito, luz de Israel. And we adopted it now and we sing it sometimes on Friday night. And we sing what? יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח נמצא ואין היתר מציאותו אחד בן יחיד כייחודו נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו אברהם אבינו Padre querido Padre bendito luz de Israel Abraham Avinu Padre querido Padre bendito luz de Israel. And this was the song to introduce it. And now many years later in the Sephardic community we started singing לאנר ולי ושמים נפשי מייחלה לאנר ולי ושמים נפשי מייחלה אם תיתנו לי כוס של יין להבדלה אם תיתנו לי כוס של יין מרחים לי פעלו לנבוכה פיתחו שערים לי כל מלאכי מעלה אם תיתנו לי כוס של יין בהבדלה אם תיתנו לי כוס של יין בהבדלה.
I don't know about you, but I always enjoy that. I enjoy them enjoying it. It's so good. And people do say that Havdalah is one of the really enjoyable ones. There's a lot of music, you know, it's after Shabbos, it's completely free. And just before we go into Havdalah itself with Elkan, I just want to say another thank you to all those organizations who are supporting One Shabbat this year. And you can see their names just behind me on the screen there. Of course, we are privileged to get a lot of support from the National Lottery and lottery players, and as well as many Jewish organizations, Jewish Leadership Council, Mitzvah Day. Stuart was with us last night. Board of Deputies, I know, are in the room tonight. CST, who will be joining us tomorrow for our summit. Magen David Adom, who I was privileged to go to their conference in Sheffield very recently. Camp Simcha, PJ Library, who we collaborate with frequently. Genetics with High Cancer Care, who of course have a big BRCA testing drive at the moment, and you can see something on our website about that. If that concerns you and you think you need to get BRCA tested. And of course, UJIA, who we all support and what they are doing in Israel to help with what is quite a diabolical situation there at the moment. So let's get on with the Havdalah. And let's go back to Elkan Levy, who is going to say the Havdalah blessings for us.
So now we're back with the Havdalah ceremony, with the cup which is filled with wine, with milk, as you can see, with the spice box which is filled with bay leaves actually, which gives it a very nice smell, and with a candle with its 2 wicks. There's a tune that I use for this that some of you may know. It's a simple tune, it has no words to it, and we sing it during the actual blessings. It goes like this: Lai lai la 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 lai lai, lai lai la 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 lai lai, lai la 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 lai lai, lai lai la la lai, lai lai la 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 lai lai, lai la 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 lai lai, lai la 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 lai lai, lai la la la. We'll start with the opening verses. You'll find the Havdalah ceremony in the Siddur for One Shabbat. It's on the page before the very end. On the page before the end in the Havdalah, in the Siddur, which is a terrific piece of work. So we'll begin with the opening verses. Hinei el Yeshua te'evtach v'lo efchad, ki azim v'zimrat Adonai v'hi li Yeshua, v'shavtem mayim b'sason mimayinei ha'Yeshua, l'Adonai ha'Yeshua l'amcha bechatecha sela, Adonai tzvot amonu miskavlon u'lehi Yaakov sela, Adonai tzvot asher adam boteach bach, Adonai Hoshea melech yaneinu v'yom kareinu, Layehudim hayata ora v'simcha v'sason v'ikar kein tiyeh lanu. Now it says, I will lift up the cup of salvation. Kos Yeshua tesav v'shem Adonai ekla, lai lai la 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 lai lai, 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 la, 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 la. Please join in. Lai, la, 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 lai, 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 la, la, lai. Lai, lai, la, 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 lai, lai. Lai, la, 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 lai, 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 la, 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 lai, lai. Lai, lai, la, la, lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Lai, 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 shehakol nihye bidvaro. Amen. Lai, lai, la, 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 lai, 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 la, 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 lai, lai. Lai, lai, la, 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 lai, 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 lai. That's Spice Box. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Lai, 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 lai. Bonei borei minei besamim. Amen. Lai, lai, la, 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 lai, 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 la, 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 lai, lai. Lai, lai, la, 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 lai, 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 la, la, lai. Now we come to the candle and we hold our hands in this sort of semicircular shape. So when you hold it up to the light, you can see the light of the candle on the outside of your fingers, but darkness is, or shade is within the circle of your fingers. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Lai, 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 lai. Orei me orei ha'esh. Lai, 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 la, 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 lai, lai. Lai, la, 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 lai, 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 la, 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 lai, lai. Lai, la, la, lai. And now we come to the last blessing, where we thank God for making a difference between the sacredness of Shabbat and the secular weekday, between light and darkness, between Israel and all the other nations, between the seventh day and the 6 other days of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol ben or l'choshech ben Yisrael la'amim ben yom hashvi'i l'sheshet yemei ha'maaseh. Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol. Amen. L'chaim.
You're muted, Ed.
Well said, whoever said that. The Havdalah ceremony, beautifully explained and performed by Elkan Levy. Just before we go into our next section, which is going to be some of the Shavua Tov and L'Shana Tova messages from some of you who sent them in, I just want to share with you this picture, which we received just a moment ago, actually. And somebody had left something outside the Oxford Centre. I think it was the Oxford Centre this morning, outside the shul. And you can see this is yellow roses with the names of those murdered hostages. So that was shared with me, and I thought I would share it tonight with you. last night we sang or listened to, we sang along with Achenu. Tonight we're going to have a slightly different aspect, remembering our friends, our relatives in Israel. And that'll come towards the end of our Havdalah event this evening. But now let's go to some nice messages from all those who've sent them in and shared them with us. And I'm now going to share them with you.
We wanted to wish you all Shana Tova from Camp Simcha, the Jewish charity that supports children with serious illnesses and their families across the UK.
Wishing all members Shabbat Shalom and a very happy, healthy and peaceful New Year and well over the fast from Jackie and David Factor of Swansea Hebrew Congregation.
Hello, I'm Anne from Tunbridge Wells, and behind me is a picture of the Beacon. The Beacon was a kinder transport hostel for mainly girls who were escaping Nazi oppression. And I've been very lucky over the past year or so to interview some of the former residents of the Beacon. So why am I telling you this? Well, I'm really proud to live in a town that values its Jewish heritage. And we talk about fruits of sharing respect. Well, this encourages respect when you can be proud of your past and everyone's interested to hear about it. So Shabbat Shalom to you all, and have a really, really good one Shabbat.
Hello from the Gables in North Bedfordshire. I'd like to wish everybody in the small communities throughout the United Kingdom a sweet and happy New Year. And I want to show you the honey that we take from our lovely bees. The label was designed by our granddaughter a couple of years ago when she was 7, and we've continued to use it. We hope to take some more honey in time to give to family and friends just before Rosh Hashanah. But in the meantime, I'd like to wish everybody a happy and healthy and above all a peaceful New Year, both here in our beloved Israel. Shana Tova to everybody.
Shana Tova! I wish us all a year filled with joy, peace, and safety. May this new year ahead bring us happiness to everyone with their loved ones, and also create a safer environment for girls, women, and vulnerable people. Shana Tova u'metuka lekulam.
I should add that Anne is one of the trustees of Jewish Small Communities Network. There's an amazing amount of volunteering and has incredible insights into education in this country. I was very pleased in Shul this morning that my Rabbi Ephraim, really did make mention of the amazing work that so many people, and I know some of you are in the room tonight, who go out to schools and you talk about Judaism, Jewish life, Jewish culture to non-Jewish school children. And maybe you also go out and you talk with local councillors, with MPs, you sit on advisory panels, you do some amazing work. And you may not know the size of the work that you do, but I added it up in the recent 6 years. Volunteers have gone out in the small communities, and maybe not in a community at all, to talk to over 1 million school children. Given that in one school year in the primary schools, the school population is 1.5 million, that's an amazing number of school children who have learnt something about Jewish life, have had some of the mysticism, some of the tropes, some of the curtains are pulled back, and they see a Jewish life for being just an ordinary Jewish person, like an ordinary Jew, an ordinary person in the rest of the country. I applaud you, what you do, and it's an amazing amount. It's really important, not just to your community, but to the whole of British Jewry and to the whole of the British population, whether they're Jewish or not. So kol hakavod to you. And I mentioned we had a chenu last night, and tonight I want to round off. After this next section, I'm going to invite you to open your microphones, not just yet, when I suggest you do, and wish one another Shana Tova or Shavua Tov, whichever you like. But now, a little bit from Israel, a song from school children in Israel, which I think you're just going to love.
בקרוב תזרח השמש, את הימים יפים מאלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. פה לא בודד, שיגמרו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעלייה בירידה, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, נשמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל חי. לא ארצי נחלתנו, לא תיפול כעת רוחנו, מסביב ברזל של חרבות. לעולם תפרוס כנפיים, אל תקווה בשנות 2000, או נצא לשיר ברחובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שיגמרו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעלייה בירידה, גם בשעות הכי קשות. הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, נשמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. עם ישראל, עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל חי.
Well, I got a little ahead of myself. I promised you 3 sections from Elkan Levy, and it just gives me the excuse to play that song again. Elkan recorded, as he was on his way to Jerusalem, his overview of what it's like in Israel at the moment. And so that is what we are going to hear now. Well, maybe not. That's very strange. Let me shut down some things and see whether that makes a difference. Try that again. And just before I share it with you, I'm going to try it myself. That sounds a bit better. Let's try that one more time.
I thought I'd record some thoughts about what it's like to be in Israel at the moment. I know that you're having a very rough time in England. Here it's different. I'm not at home. I'm actually in the train going up to Jerusalem. My Andy is away. The quickest way of getting to Jerusalem and the easiest way is by train. And since I'm over 75, I have what's called a Rav Kav Zahav, which gives me free transport on all public transport in the whole of Israel at all times. We live in Netanya. And Netanya is a beautiful seaside resort, but it's not a major military target, which means that throughout the whole of this war, we haven't heard a single siren. There haven't been any rockets aimed at us. There have been no attacks. Life in Netanya, to a very great extent, goes on as ever. Cafes are open, the beaches are open. It's very different in Tel Aviv, where my children and grandchildren all live. On one occasion I was talking to Sam, my youngest grandson, who was at the time 16, and we were talking, and then he said, "Sorry, Grandpa, there's an alarm. I've got to go down to the shelter." So he went down to the shelter. He said, "I'll call you back in 10 minutes," and he did so. And I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, there was an alarm, so I took my laptop down to the shelter and I got on with whatever I was doing, and then I came up and I said, 'Are you alone in the house?' He said, 'Oh yes.' He was there quite blasé about it. Life here is very interesting. Obviously, the war and the news of the war and what's going on in the army is a major topic of conversation and a major topic on the news. We all have friends or relatives who are in the army. Of my 4 grandchildren, 3 of them are in the army, and Sam will be going in next year. He's already doing the various tests where he and they work out what he's really suited for. I know people, relatives of people who were at the music festival in the 7th of October, and if it would have been a week later, my granddaughter might have been there. So life is strange, but at the same time it's also very quiet. Prices, of course, have gone up tremendously. Tomatoes used to be between 3 and 5 shekels a kilo. I saw them this morning at 11 shekels a kilo. But that's just life. Most of our tomatoes used to come from Turkey, and since Erdogan has decided that he doesn't want to export anything to Israel, so there's a shortage of tomatoes, and quite what the Turks are doing with so many tomatoes, we don't know. But at the end of the day, this is still a wonderful place to live. At the moment, given the problems that you have in the UK, given the problems in America, given the general level of stupidity of the populace, and given the joy and the honor and the privilege of living in this wonderful, sunlit, friendly Jewish state, at the moment there isn't anywhere in the world that I would rather live. Can I finish by not only wishing you Shavua Tov, but wishing us all a Shana Tova, a good new year. May 5785 bring with it a year of peace, of health, of happiness, of goodness for all mankind, and may we all be inscribed in the book of life. I wish you all, I wish us all, Shana Tova Umatuka.
And you're on mute.
I'm going to edit this afterwards, aren't I? I can tell. Wishing you all that you be inscribed in the book for a safe, peaceful, and happy year. And now, do you want to hear that song again?
Yes.
Yes, right. Let's do that. And then after that, we will wish one another Shana Tova. So let's bring that one up. Let's hope it plays properly. And there we go. Am Yisrael High.
Amen.
בקרוב תזרח השמש, את הימים יפים אלה, הלב נלחם בדאגות. כולם יחזרו הביתה, נחכה להם למטה, הלוואי נדע בשורות טובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שיגמרו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעלייה בירידה, גם בשעות הכי קשות, הקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו, אז מי יכול עלינו? כי אין לנו עוד מדינה. תעשה שלום בינינו, נשמור על ילדינו, כי לא אבדה האמונה. עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל חי. לא ארצי נחלתנו, לא תיפול כעת רוחנו, מסביב ברזל של חרבות. לעולם תפרוס כנפיים, אל תקווה בשנות 2000, או נצא לשיר ברחובות. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד, אפילו כשקשה לראות. כולם ביחד, אף אחד פה לא בודד, שיגמרו המלחמות. עם ישראל חי, אם לא נשכח תמיד להיות מאוחדים. עם ישראל חי, בעלייה בירידה, גם
Shavua Tov, I'm Israel. Hi. Now, I invite you to take your mutes off and wish everybody Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, everybody. Shavua Tov.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Shavua Tov.
Shana Tova. Beep, beep.
Oops. I think somebody's come very late to the room, but Shana Tova and the tidied up edit will be available online during the week to watch back.
Good.
Don't bother tidying up, leave it as it is.
Well, I might just do that, Morris. Wishing you all a good week, a good year, and a peaceful and safe year.